Yeah.
So it's book your next hotel.
If you don't book, it's a shame.
So it's resort.
Sweet vacation home for your next great stay.
No matter what happens, don't stop running till you get to the car.
March 30th, 2003, a sold-out stadium erupted in cheers and chants as the world watched in awe as two legends stepped into the squared circle one last time. The energy was palpable and the anticipation was unmatched. WrestleMania 19 brought together the two biggest names in the WWE universe at the time, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. These two superstars had defined an era, setting the wrestling world ablaze with their charisma, intensity, and rivalry. They had engaged in multiple battles before, but this time the stakes were higher than ever. The story of this epic rivalry begins with The Rock and Steve Austin initially not striking a chord with their audience during the first few years of their career. While Steve spent his...
the same thing happened to the both of them? Why did I not realize that? That's true, because Stone Cold, didn't he come from WCW? He was a whole different
initial
character.
years of his career in WCW, he was highly underrated. Regardless of how good he was in the ring, Steve was never seen as the guy that could take WCW to new heights. For the company, he was just a wrestler who switched factions until he was eventually released in 1995. And The Rock, on the other hand, had a football background and was a third-generation superstar. And when The Rock made his debut as Rocky Maivia, in 1996, it didn't take long for the blue chipper to realize that fans were not in love with his persona at all. Being portrayed as a happy babyface all the time didn't really connect with the fans at the time. However, their identical drive for success, both wrestlers realized that they had to take things more seriously.
So The Rock's problem, he was just happy, like... See, fans kind of kill me, bro. But I guess, bro, but see... If niggas would have never responded the way they did, we would have never got The Rock we know now. He would have just been Rocky Maivia.
If they wanted to make it to the top of the mountain. So as time passed on, both The Rock and Steve Austin began working much more serious gimmicks for themselves as they were utilizing every opportunity that was presented to them. In Austin's case, after being released from WCW, Steve would
weird with hair. Bro, to me, he's just a bald guy from Texas. Like, I can't see him with hair.
joined Paul Heyman in ECW for a short time, and he used this period to work on his promo skills and character work. After his time in ECW was up, Steve would come to WWE under the Ringmaster name. And while the reception of this gimmick wasn't strong either, Steve knew he would have to change things up if he wanted to be seen as a top guy. In his own words, the Ringmaster gimmick just wasn't marketable. Steve wanted to be portrayed as a tough SOB, so that's when he went to creative to ask for a change, and that's how he got his iconic name.
That the Ringmaster didn't have staying power, didn't have legs, hard to merchandise the Ringmaster. I came up with the concept of just a cold-blooded, ruthless heel. And they came back with names like Fang McFrost, Otto Von Ruthless, and Ice Dagger. Temperature-based names. I was very frustrated. My wife at the time was from England. She made me a cup of hot tea. And she said, well, don't worry about it. You'll come up with something. Just go ahead and drink your tea before it gets stone cold. That's your name, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
So it wasn't until the King of the Ring pay-per-view.
So his ex-wife, I bet she didn't see a lick of that money. Actually, she might have. Stone Cold's from Texas, so he got some southern hospitality, but you just never know.
In 1996, that the Texas Rattlesnake was officially born. At the event, Steve Austin defeated Jake Roberts in the tournament's finals. It wasn't particularly the match that fans remember today, but it's what happened after that made Steve Austin a household.
I actually went back to go see the start of the Attitude Era, because on Peacock, everything WWE is still on there for right now until they take everything off. But I actually went back to go see that entire show, and the show wasn't bad. But when I got to the end and realized what the fuck was happening, I was like, wait a minute. This is Stone Cold and Snake Roberts. Where have I seen this from? And then he walked his way towards the front of the stage, and then he said, well, Austin 316 says, I was like, oh shit, that's that promo. And it clicked. I was
Stone
like,
Cold would cut a promo in which he taunted the religious beliefs of Jake Roberts and uttered the famous words Austin 316 for the very first time.
Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
bro.
Fans began to take Austin seriously from that moment on, and it was crystal clear who would be the top guy in the company for the years to come. On the flip side of the coin, the company saw that Rocky Maivia was a major flop and The Rock needed a change. So in August 1997, The Rock turned heel and joined the Nation of Domination stable, and quickly became the leader of the group. It was at this point that superstars began referring to him as The Rock, as he hated being called Rocky Maivia. So it was with the help of Pat Patterson, he managed to get his name changed to the one we all know him by now.
The birth story of The Rock is my original wrestling name was Rocky Maivia, which was a combination of my dad's first name and my grandfather's last name because both of them were pro wrestlers. And I hated the name. I hated it.
Wow.
The lineage I had gave me the opportunity to at least knock on the door. I wanted my own identity, I wanted my own space, so I was very proud to come from who I came from with my dad and my grandfather. A guy who was my father figure, Pat Patterson. He said, "What do we call you, The Rock?" He's a French guy, had a tough French accent. I said, "I love it." He goes, "Okay, you're The Rock."
So as weeks went by, The Rock became more popular with the fan base. Every week, The Rock would cut promos either in the ring or backstage using a sharp sense of humor to belittle his opponents.
Dreams. You gotta
But The
roll
Rock
out of bed
says,
to make
bro,
them happen. Bank of
legendary
Texas.
shit. It's gonna,
Let us do
God
the fishing
forbid
while y'all
anytime
enjoy
soon,
seafood
I
that
don't
you'll
want to speak
love.
on
Get
too
them
much,
before
but it's
they're
gonna
gone.
suck when he passes away. God forbid anytime soon.
And
But
the fans. The
it's another
company
one of those
began to
guys
notice the
that's
hundreds
like,
and
he's like when Kobe passed away, oh my God, that's what it's gonna feel like. Him, John Cena, Stone Cold, God forbid anytime those guys go anytime soon. God, please don't not right now. Please not right now. But I'm just referring to like that's how heavy of a presence these guys have.
thousands
in their
of fans
companies,
that will
man,
be on the edge of
and
their
their
seats
genres
to
of
see
work.
The Rock appear on TV. So WWE wanted to capitalize on the momentum, and they didn't waste no time in pushing The Rock to the main event scene.
Shut
They
up,
should've.
bitch.
Yeah, as they fucking should have.
It doesn't matter where you were born.
Big Daddy called The Rock's ass more like Big Daddy Bit.
It doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter where you were born.
What did he say?
As a result, it was inevitable that these two would meet in the ring, but many fans seem to forget the first time these two legends crossed paths for the very first time. Before they were battling for the WWE Championship, The Rock and Steve Austin were feuding over the IC belt. So on November 10th, on an episode of Raw, we finally got to see these two interact for the very first time.
If you got enough manhood to accept my challenge, then your bottom line will read, has been compliments of The Rock.
I got a couple of challenges for you. I challenge you to get you a decent haircut.
And Stone Cold was.
Feud commenced with the Nation of Domination attacking Steve on Raw, and The Rock made it clear he was coming after the prestigious Intercontinental Championship. So at the Degeneration...
Remember what I said the other day, chat? Look, the IC title is full of classic matches on that belt, bro. Like, it's... If you could put the titles and not the titles, just the matches, not even the winners, if you could put the matches on a belt, the IC title arguably will be right. In my opinion, it's right there with the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, and the IC title is literally right under that. And depending on who you ask, the IC title might be above the World Heavyweight Championship. It might be above the WWE. I don't know. The IC title is just fucking goated, bro.
In Your House pay-per-view,
My favorite match / feud over the title is probably Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels. That is the match I'll always have in my head. That ladder match. That match right there, that's the match when I think of the IC title, I think of that. I think WWE, if they're going for the multi-man ladder match, it needs to be on that same level. They need to restore the qualification of that title, bro. And Ron Breaker's doing a great job. I think he's doing fine. The title looks dope.
Austin will go on to defeat The Rock in just under 6 minutes to retain his championship. And in the following episode of Raw, we saw Vince McMahon ordering Steve to defend his title once again against The Rock. As an act of defiance, the Texas Rattlesnake threw the championship inside the river, forfeiting the title to The Rock in a memorable segment.
I really don't give a damn about you or the WWE, so I'll see you a little bit later.
Oh my!
Little did anyone know that this would be setting up the feud between the Texas Rattlesnake and Vince in motion. However, the story would come full circle 1 year later. The rivalry between the Texas Rattlesnake and the evil boss himself is the stuff of legends on its own. However, the on-screen chemistry between Vince and Steve Austin was cherished by everyone. At the time, the storyline was regarding a defiant wrestler who went against his boss was unheard of. And things were just getting better and better for Stone Cold, considering this was the boom era of WWE. And also taking into account the all-time classic he had against Bret Hart at WrestleMania, Steve Austin at the top of the card made all the sense in the world. So as soon as Steve Austin won the WWE Championship from Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14, he continued to feud with the corporation. While The Rock was still in the IC picture, despite not being in the world title program, The Rock didn't show any signs of slowing down. With feuds with the likes of Triple H, The Rock's popularity continued to see an upwards trend to the point where he was turned face for good. It was clear The Rock wasn't going to remain in the shadows of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What's up? I'm on stream. Nah, I'm doing reactions. Yeah, I'm on YouTube looking at videos. No, I left that hoe. I didn't know anybody else left. Bro. Oh my god, bro. That shit. I didn't tell nobody to leave. I left on my own accord, bro. What can I say, chat? I guess you can call me an influencer. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Bro, why don't you just go? You got. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna have to call you back because I'm gonna hit you up after I'm done streaming. Okay. All right, bro. All right, love you too, bro. Bet. Yeah, check, cause we finna have a whole tangent right there.
To go back.
With Steve Austin already in the main event scene, it was only a matter of time when The Rock would be inserted in the world title picture. At the annual event of the Survivor Series in 1998, The Rock joined hands with the evil faction, the Corporation, and defeated Mankind in a controversial manner to become the WWE champion, turning heel in the process. And The Rock played the role perfectly, and at that year's Royal Rumble, the two would meet again in a now infamous I Quit match, where The Rock would go on to win, but not without some controversies, as he had Mankind handcuffed and then proceeded to hit him in the head 11 times with a steel chair. The scene was brutal, and with that, the stage was set, with Stone Cold being positioned as the #1 guy in the company and The Rock just behind him as #2. This had all the makings of a perfect face versus heel match. What also happened at the Royal Rumble event in 1999 was Mr. McMahon decided to enter the Royal Rumble match, and with the help of his allies and The Rock, he eliminated Stone Cold to win the whole thing. And on the following night on Raw, Vince forfeited his opportunity of the world title match at WrestleMania, indicating that The Rock wouldn't even need to defend his championship at all. But things didn't go to plan for the corporation, because the WWE commissioner at the time, Shawn Michaels, informed the whole world that the runner-up of the Royal Rumble match would be The Rock's opponent at WrestleMania 15. This meant The Rock would come face to face with Steve at the grandest stage of them all. The fans were struck by anticipation. After all, we were witnessing history in the making. So when the match took place at WrestleMania, The Rock fought hard and showcased his desperation to become the man to put an end to the top guy in Stone Cold Steve Austin. And even with multiple distraction and interferences, Steve was able to put down The Rock and become the new WWE champion once again. This wasn't the only main event between the two at WrestleMania, as they were destined to do it again, but things will get even better and more personal next time. By the time 2000 rolled around, Steve left to deal with a neck injury, meaning there was a top spot left wide open, and who else better than The Rock to fill that huge void? And despite the fact that Vince and The Rock knew he was filling in for big shoes,
his popularity was so strong, and honestly it was so infectious because it motivated me and drove me. It's what I wanted.
Are you self-employed or run a small business? Do you want an easy way to create professional invoices? Then Skynova is...
We were rivals because he was trying to get the top. I was the top.
So with his relentless desire, The Rock used this opportunity to become the top guy the company needed at the time and prove he could be more than a superstar that was meant to drop the championship to Steve. During this period, The Rock would be turned face and end up feuding against the corporations. So by the early 2000s, The Rock was looking to become a world champion again. At that year's Backlash pay-per-view, The Rock faced Triple H in the main event, and Steve Austin was scheduled to appear at the event. However, as the event progressed, it felt like Steve wasn't going to show up, and you could see it in the fans' faces. And during the main event, when it looked like Triple H had the match won, and just when all hope was lost, Steve Austin appeared.
What a pop.
With the crowd popping bigger than ever, it's still considered one of the greatest WWE Championship matches of all time. However, despite joining hands at the end of the match, things were far from being over between the two. And WWE had a unique situation on hand. It's rare that two babyfaces would face each other in the ring against one another. As we all know, traditional storytelling in WWE usually goes bad guy versus good guy, with good guy overcoming all the odds. So at the 2001 Royal Rumble match, The Rock and Steve Austin came face to face once again, and the fans went crazy over them in the arena. And if this was a test from Vince in terms of storytelling to see how fans would engage these two going against each other again, simply put, it exceeded all expectations as the fans loved it. So this was the stepping stone for another match at WrestleMania, and Steve Austin would end up winning the Royal Rumble match for an unprecedented third time. On the other hand, The Rock would win the world title again a month later from Kurt Angle, and the feud was set between the two once again. And this time, things got way personal. So to kick things off, Steve's real life wife Deborah was ordered by Vince to be the manager for The Rock. Both The Rock and Austin were against this, and Stone Cold made it clear that he would be...
That's crazy. That's how you know The Rock is respectful, bro. He's like, nah, that's too far. And you know Stone Cold is not gonna fuck with that shit, bro. That's his ex-wife. So
beating the hell out of anyone. And things started to get more heated with the passage of time as Austin's patience was being put to a test. And during The Rock's rematch against Kurt Angle, Deborah got herself in a predicament where she was placed in an ankle lock hold. Austin, seeing this, made him lose his mind. He beat the hell out of Kurt Angle and The Rock. And for the next few weeks, The Rock and Steve Austin fought ferociously, and the main event of WrestleMania was getting more and more exciting. The sit-down interview with JR summed up everything perfectly.
I never asked for Deborah to be my manager, never wanted Deborah to be my manager.
I'm supposed to be your manager, and I'm wrestling you for the World Wrestling Federation Championship at WrestleMania. Yeah, that's a problem. I don't like the tone in your voice when you mention my name or my wife. The fact is, Rock, you got the WWF title, and I want it. There can be only one.
When the second main event between the two icons took place, things came full circle when Vince McMahon inserted himself into the match. And the Rattlesnake had a significant advantage in the home field as the no DQ main event commenced. The match started off with a fierce battle, with Austin dominating from beginning to end, and the focus of the match was Stone Cold's desperation and The Rock's resilience. And it was Austin who took the initiative by introducing the ring bell, which was later returned by The Rock. Then Mr. McMahon made his way towards the ring. Adding to the history with his feud with Austin, it seemed like the chairman was once again planning to betray and sabotage his longtime rival. However, there was a big twist when Mr. McMahon pulled The Rock off Stone Cold, and after a last-ditch low blow from Stone Cold to the Brahma Bull, Vince McMahon's true intention became evident when he struck The Rock with a chair. The fans were shocked as The Rock managed not only to kick out but also deliver an impactful rock bottom to Steve Austin and then went for the cover. And once again, Vince interfered during the pinfall attempt by getting involved, and this prompted the People's Champion to unleash his wrath upon Vince. But unfortunately, as he turned around, he got Stone Cold stunned. But nevertheless, The Rock displayed great perseverance as he kicked out yet again. With desperation reaching its peak for Austin at this point, he resorted using the chair against Rock, hitting him multiple times until considerable damage had been inflicted towards him. And finally, towards the end of the match, with Vince by his side, he'll pin The Rock to win the WWE Championship once again. I must say, these two just made history. Everything about this was amazing. The brawl, Jim Ross on commentary, the hot crowd, the amazing work
with that. The storytelling for Stone Cold got stale after he went heel with Vince McMahon. But it was still a good turn though at that time. It's kind of like how John Cena's doing with The Rock right now. Hold on. I'll be right back. Man, my legs are dead,
between the two. And finally, the shot of Stone Cold shaking the hand of his old rival Vince McMahon is one for the ages. There is no doubt that fans witnessed one of the greatest endings to WrestleMania ever. So after WrestleMania 17, Steve would align himself with Vince and Triple H, while The Rock became a babyface superstar once again. And it's important to note that these two wrestlers did meet each other at Survivor Series that year, as part of WWE vs WCW Invasion storyline in a traditional 5v5 match. While both men showed great tenacity, the
that storyline had no business being that ass to have all that potential.
Match concluded with Team WWE winning by Kurt Angle hitting Stone Cold with the belt and The Rock pinning him for the 3 count. So as time went by, The Rock was transitioning into his Hollywood career, while Steve Austin had multiple injuries and created differences with the company, indicating that his time as a full
So it's book your next hotel.
If you don't book it,
full-time wrestler could be coming to an end. At the time, Vince wanted Stone Cold to lose to Brock Lesnar in the first round of that year's King of the Ring. With Austin being so hot, he didn't want to. He believed that their build to their match should have been the final, and it should have been properly built up towards. And this is where
that makes more sense, because I'm pretty sure Stone Cold had no problem losing to Brock. But I'm telling y'all, half the time, it's how niggas lose that make people mad. Like, when Austin Theory got squashed the other week, when I heard that, I was like, why did he get squashed? I may not like Austin Theory like that, but he not ass. He's gotten a lot better. So for him to get squashed the way he did, bro, that didn't make any sense. He didn't need to. It's Jey Uso. And I like Jey Uso. Why the fuck did Austin Theory get squashed by Jey Uso? It makes no sense.
Infamous quote comes from where Steve took his ball and walked away.
Jim Ross calls me with the creative for Monday Night Raw. Tells me, long story short, that I'm doing a job for Brock Lesnar. I said, oh, really? I said, well, if that's going to be the case, I ain't going to be there. So sure enough, I woke up. I had 2 Bloody Marys. Got on an airplane, and I was flying back to San Antonio. And I was mad. It ain't about winning or losing. I'll let anybody beat me. As long as it's for a reason, it means something, and there's money behind it.
Yeah, bro. It has to be a good loss. Like, it can't be. The stupid losses make no sense now. We're past that era of wrestling where you can do that shit. Unless the opponent makes sense to get beat like that. Like when Brock Lesnar squashed. Who the fuck did he squash? Like when he squashed John Cena after beating the Undertaker, that makes sense for John Cena to go out like that because he just beat the Undertaker. That's what this is John's words, not mine. So it makes sense. But for Steve Austin to lose in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament to Brock Lesnar, bro, a new Brock Lesnar. This isn't Brock Lesnar that has the title. This is Brock Lesnar that is new. New. It makes no sense.
So I said, I ain't doing it. And I went home. It was over. I was done.
And in regards to his injuries, he said it best himself how hard the decision was, as he felt as though he was being forced out.
It's a hard business to get out of. I'm being forced out. That's just the way it is. Those are the cards I got dealt. I got a bunch of problems. So my biggest deal is tomorrow. I don't want to get hurt. But I keep rolling the dice, keep rolling the dice, keep rolling the dice. I don't want to get hurt. But I don't want to stink the joint out.
Now the trilogy was set, but with Stone Cold having 2 victories over The Rock at WrestleMania, this amazing rivalry would have felt hollow had he not got a win over him. At this point, The Rock was more of an actor than a wrestler, and he was desperate to show that he could score victory. So at WrestleMania, in a typical showdown between the two competitors, both men engaged in back and forth exchanges, mirroring each other's moves. Whenever one wrestler used a finisher off the other thought it was necessary to do the same. And at the beginning of the match, Stone Cold unleashed a rapid series of attacks. However, as the battle progressed, Austin would tire, while The Rock would seize control. And just like the WrestleMania 17 encounter when Austin had to resort to desperate measures to secure victory, this bout presented a similar challenge. It would require 3 rock bombs to finally incapacitate Stone Cold, and for The Rock to claim victory over his greatest rival. In a touching moment after the pinfall, The Rock will look away from the hard cam, shove the referee, and the two will share some words.
We're both laying in the middle of the ring.
Damn.
And I sat up, and I remember I pushed the referee, Earl Hebner, away.
He knew that I was going. He knew that I didn't want to go, and this was a hard decision for me to make.
I lowered my head down to Steve's ear, and I said, I can't thank you enough for everything that you have done. And then I said, I love you.
I remember just laying there in front of 70,000, man. Say, man, I love you too.
That's what I'm talking about.
Damn, bro, that's gonna make me cry, cause it's like, fuck, bro. It's like when Naruto or Sasuke, one of them niggas has to retire, go sit the fuck down somewhere, and the other niggas like, damn, bro, you the realest nigga out here besides me.
This shit means something to me, man.
To say the rivalry between these two is epic would just be an understatement. The Rock and Steve Austin are responsible for not only putting the company on the map, but also breaking viewership and attendance records. Heck, you can even argue that these guys took out WCW because of their epic rivalry. And at the time, WWE witnessed its highest TV ratings ever, and the house shows and pay-per-view attendance were at an all-time high. Pay-per-view buys were never the same after Steve Austin and Stone Cold called it a day. Despite the success John Cena achieved and his contributions to helping the company move ahead in the absence of the two legends, some still argue that WWE was never the same. There's a reason why people pop huge when Steve returns on TV. There's a reason why people are eager to see The Rock return to fight his cousin. There's a reason why these two are always in the conversation for the greatest professional wrestler of all time. And there's a reason why WWE became the global phenomenon it is today. If you like the video, guys, make sure to click the thumbs up and subscribe button. And if you want to see more wrestling documentaries, check out the one below that we did of WCW versus WWE.
Want more from your money?
Yeah, bro.
Leap into a First Rewards checking account with First Community. Watch your money grow while earning.
I mean, it will. Of course, it's never gonna